It's created in your own little world. You can get into a new reality. Imagination is the foundation of my work. AI is a very important tool. It created like a safe space for me where I can create more imaginary works and push the limits. I can quickly go through color palettes and send out iterations to my client much faster than I did before. That was an ultimate positive difference in the world. Generative AI empowers you to take early risks. The older the risk, the bigger the impact. Generative AI has the potential to empower people with disabilities. As one person, I can draw a picture or snap my art as a graphic. It unlocks the potential for creative expression. Generative AI can boost creative confidence, opening the door to new possibilities. I feel like I could do anything. I got this request recently, going way back in 2010. Like I just wanted a full family photo and never got it, and it's been snapped to this day. And before, I thought, oh, this photo's too small. But with generative AI, I was like, okay, I'm going to just send the background, and I'm going to add the people. I just get so emotional thinking about what this will mean for them, how they can have this photo forever.
Our goal at this is to use creative technologies to create a better tomorrow. One of the things we do is personalize 3D printed bionic arms for children and families. So we're really excited about the possibility to take what maybe a 6-year-old says about a bionic and create prompts to feed into the generative AI, because it empowers them to believe in their abilities and their ideas. Now AI can bring that to a larger audience.
We're essentially explorers in this new world of generative AI.
Your imagination is the engine, is the power of this tool. I encourage you to take the leap to go and just experiment and try for yourself.
All you have to do is explore and dive in.
Using AI is a new exciting era when art is for everyone.
Wow, how good was that? That's so inspiring. And I love that video because it perfectly encapsulates Adobe's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. My name's Scott Gruer, and I'm a senior solutions consultant for Adobe Southeast Asia. But that's just my day job. In my spare time, I also lead the Singapore Community Impact team. So today, I'm going to be speaking about AI creativity for all. Now, before I get into it, let's play a little game. On the screen, there are 4 images. One of them is created with AI. Does anyone want to guess which one? Okay, I think everyone has said number 2. Do we have any other guesses here? It's very interesting. Oh, is that a, what is that? A 3 back there? Very, okay. So it's really interesting because I had a similar presentation in Thailand recently, and most people guessed number 2. And I think maybe because, I don't know, personally I think number 2 is really beautiful, and maybe we think, but the reality is life is beautiful, isn't it? So the one that's actually generated by AI is, if the clicker works, number 4. So this just shows the power of generative AI, that it can create things that are indistinguishable from the real world. Now, the timing of this event is perfect because this week at Adobe, we're celebrating a yearly event we have called Adobe for All. And it's exactly where we celebrate the same things. We celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we've had a lot of internal presentations on this and inclusive events, so it's been wonderful. So I'm so happy to be here today. And we also launched Adobe's new accessibility principles, and there's a QR code there if you do want to read more about that. But those are partnerships. So we want to co-create with the community of people with disabilities. Transparency. We are open about Adobe's philosophy, goals, and progress in this regard. And innovation. We invent inclusive technologies and collaborate with communities dedicated to digital equity to deliver outstanding experiences. And Adobe is an industry leader in accessibility and supports the creation of outstanding digital experiences that are accessible to all. And there are three parts to this. There's improving accessibility by design, which I'll get into a little bit more later on. There's creating inclusive design frameworks. And there's developing industry standards. Has anyone seen this image before? Okay, we've got one nod. Anyone else? Two? Okay, great. There's a few people. And those that, this is a great way to highlight the differences between equality, equity, and inclusion. So what you see on the screen here, there's three people who would like to watch a baseball game. But as you can see, there's a barrier in the way. Now, with this, they're all given a box to stand on. Okay? And this illustrates the concept of equality. But even though we're providing equal capability here, someone is still left out. You see, the person on the right still cannot see the game. But what happens if we take that box from the tallest person and give it to the person on the right? Then suddenly everyone is able to enjoy the game. And this highlights the concept of equity. But what would be even better is if we could remove the barrier, the fence altogether. And this is what we call inclusion, because this allows everyone access. Now, if you look at equity and inclusion, the great thing is AI can be a way to drive equity. So it can lift that person up, whether it be a skill gap or some other gap. Now, as experience makers and software developers, we can work towards inclusion by having accessible designs, so accessibility by design. And every year at Adobe, we have an internal mini summit dedicated to accessibility. And you can see we take that into consideration: equity, inclusion, and belonging. And our goal is to author, design, and engineer software and experiences that are accessible for all. Now let's just think a little bit about creativity and how we unlock it. So if you want to be creative, let's say you want to do a drawing or a painting or something else creative. There are kind of a few components that are needed. First, you need an idea. Then you need skills to be able to execute that idea. And you also need resources. So what we find is that most people have ideas. We all have lots of ideas, and it's about taking action on them. But sometimes the skills are not there, and those might be technical skills, they might be physical challenges, anything. And sometimes the resources are not there. So let's say that we have to do a sketch, for example. You'd need some paper, a pencil perhaps, and sometimes these resources are also not there. So the great thing is that AI is actually a resource that can help bridge the gaps. So in this case, the skill gaps can potentially be bridged with AI. Now, let's say we were given a task. Draw a horse with wings, okay? So I had a go at this, and that's what I came up with, okay? So if we were to objectively rate my drawing skill there, it might look something like this. Maybe it's down there. That's my drawing skill, okay? My motor skills and my cognitive skills are there, but the drawing skill has a gap. So for myself, AI is able to fill that gap to make me more creative and have access to creativity. Again, creativity for all. So let's look at, with the help of AI, in a matter of seconds, I was able to go from this to this. Now, I don't know, personally, I find that amazing. And it can go well beyond that. And I'll show you what this looks like. Now, that AI has been able to assist me here. But what can it do for others? So let's say there's an individual and they have a certain level of drawing skills. Maybe they have this level of motor skills and they've got this level of cognitive skills. Again, AI can help. Again, it helps with the drawing skills, but it can also bridge the gap in those other areas as well, such as the motor skills. Now, this gentleman you see on the screen is Manish Agrawal, and he has a wonderful story. He is a blind person who actually uses Adobe's latest generative AI to create artworks. So think about that. A blind person who's now able to create artworks. And it's a feature that that takes text and turns it into images. But I really love the quote from him because this highlights the main point here, is that technology makes things easier, but for people with disabilities, it makes things possible. Wonderful. And this artwork, which you actually probably saw in the video in the intro, this here was created by Manish. So he would have put in some text prompts. He would have said an astronaut in outer space and so he would have put all the detail he wanted here, and the AI generated this artwork for him. And we've seen this on various media, such as LinkedIn as well. So you can see Rakesh here. He's also visually impaired and was also able to generate artwork using this technology, which is wonderful. It's bringing that accessibility to all. So what is this magical AI technology that we're talking about? We call it Adobe Firefly, and it's our new family of generative AI models for Adobe products that offers a way to ideate, create, and scale content. So again, if you can start with the idea, then you're able to use this tool. It's giving access to the creation and also the scaling, because it does it in a matter of seconds, which is absolutely amazing. So it's saving people time as well. And there's many features in Firefly. The one that we've seen there, where Manish is used, for example, is called text to image. But we also have things such as generative fill, text effects, and there's other ones, generative recolor, and we're exploring some other things such as 3D to image, extended image, which is already available in a form in Adobe Photoshop in what we call generative fill, which we saw in the demo there, where they extended that wedding photo. And then there's a few other things as well here. So some of these, for example, the text to template. So again, that's going to give people with disability, as long as they can put in a text prompt, they're able to create things. So not only text to image to create the images, but now templates. Maybe it's a template for a social media post or a website. So they're going to be able to be part of the creative process. So it's all about inclusion. And this is what the text image looks like. So you can see here I've said, sketch a horse with wings. Now, it was important for me to put the word sketched so it had an idea of what sort of styling that I wanted. And as you can see, amazing results. And these literally come up in a few seconds. Now we can modify the prompts as well. I mean, we've just had the Mid-Autumn Festival. So I thought, why don't we put the moon in here as well? So sketch a horse with wings with the moon in the background. And just like that, we're able to get to our desired images. But it also works for photographs as well. So in this case, I said a photo of a horse at Marina Bay, Singapore. And, to be fair, some of the images that came up, like that second one, we're still refining the model and making it better and better. It just came out of beta, actually. But I think the third one really nailed it. It's amazing. That third one, you would think, wow, that looks like it was actually a photo shoot. And the amazing thing is to think that I was able to do this in a few seconds. But imagine we really did a photo shoot on this. I mean, I, for one, I've been here for 7.5 years in Singapore, and I've never seen a horse down at Marina Bay. So, one, getting the horse down there, two, organising the photo shoot, etc., etc. So this is really unlocking creativity for all. And we have accessibility built into our other products as well. So Adobe's not just about the visual side of things and creative there. We also have our document cloud and things such as Acrobat and PDF. And one of the things we released recently is the PDF Accessibility Auto Tag API. So this leverages Adobe Sensei, which is what we term our AI technology, to automate and scale the process of tagging PDF content structures. And the API tags or identifies the structures, including the headings, paragraphs, lists, and tables, and it indicates the correct reading order for assistive technologies such as screen readers. So the idea here is that this is enabling organizations to make their documents accessible and do it at scale, because the technology is there in Acrobat to be able to include accessibility, but how does an organization do this across hundreds or thousands of products? This is what we're unlocking, so it's bringing it to everyone. And then when we design our apps and our experiences, we promote something called accessibility blue lines. And accessibility blue lines are design specifications that define and describe an application's wayfinding. And wayfinding is things such as the focus order, keyboard shortcuts, content structure, annotations, etc. And it enables it so that it can be engineered for assistive technologies such as screen readers, keyboards. And you can see an illustration of that on the right. And here's an example of those accessibility blue lines. So the first one we see here describes the accessible name. For those who have worked in web before, it's kind of similar to the alt text that you have on websites. So again, it's to have an alternative name or an accessible name that screen readers can read. And the second one is landmark region. So that's giving structure to the UI. So again, so that adaptive technology can help with that. And then the third one is the heading structure. Again, putting logic in there, making it easy for people to understand. And the final one is all about the navigation. So the keyboard shortcuts, how would people using these technologies be able to, for example, navigate with just the keyboard or some other device other than visually seeing it. And here are some actual examples. So if you see here, we've got accessible, some of the accessible names. So the first one where we've got the magnifying glass. So if the screen reader will see that as search. The second one, the question mark, it will be support and feedback. The third one, the notification icon. And the fourth one about the user profile, so the account profile. And here's some more. So if you've used some of the software where you interact with fonts, even the fonts that are, you can change are actually have accessibility blue lines in there as well. Now, one of the really interesting things that I only discovered this week during our Adobe for All talks is we have an AI feature in one of our products that it really drove accessibility, and it was unintentional. So most of our accessibility work is around the user interface, making sure that people with disabilities can actually use the tech. But this one was actually a product feature that was driven from a business need that really impacted those with accessibility needs. So Adobe doesn't just work, we don't just do Photoshop and PDF, Acrobat, etc. We also have other products around digital experience, and that's actually the area that I work in. So you think about, when you go to websites or mobile apps, a lot of the tech that's powering the content and the analytics behind that is running on Adobe. And in this case, this one is part of our product called Customer Journey Analytics. And what it is, as you can see, there's a visualization on the screen. Generally, data analytics is a very visual type medium. It's all about interpreting charts and data. Now, that can be really challenging for those with vision impairment. So we released this product feature, and this product feature is called Intelligent Captions. So it's natural language captions generated on demand to quickly gather insights from data visualizations for novice analysts and business users. So you can see there was a business need there. This was not an accessibility feature. But what happens when you look at it, we're taking that visual element and we're converting it to text. So again, we were building this technology, for a business need to make people, to make everyone's life easier. But when we were doing user acceptance testing, there were some people with visual impairment, and they loved this feature, and we didn't realize how much of an impact this was going to have to them, because now they were able to take something that was visual before and understand what was happening. So again, it's all about unlocking that accessibility and making everything inclusive here. Now, during our Adobe for All week, our theme for this year is Let's Belong Together. And I think this is very fitting because it really aligns with the theme of Tech for Good this year about inclusive employment. So, we're all on this planet together. It's all about working together, lifting each other up, and moving forward for a better future. So with that, I really thank you for your time and hope you found this interesting. And please enjoy the rest of this wonderful festival today. Thank you.